The big bad news of the primary night that we just had was that AIPAC has won and big money has won and corruption has won because Jamaal Bowman has lost his reelection bid against George Latimer. And it would be one thing if he just wasn't that popular in his district. He had taken positions they don't like. And George Latimer, he's just a dynamic candidate. He doesn't have a history strewn with weird racist social media posts and all that. And just, he's a fighter and he gets out there and he rallies support. But that isn't what actually happened at all. George Latimer doesn't think that's what happened. Instead, we get what we get, which is they flooded the race with money that didn't come from the district, has nothing to do with the district, has basically nothing to do with the Democratic Party at all.
The video will continue in just a moment, but first I have a message for you. TYT needs your help. Membership is vital to survival, so please go to tyt.com/team and become a member today.
And Jamaal Bowman has unfortunately lost his reelection race. So let's take a look. Well, we can actually go into this first video for a second.
This race was never about me and me alone. It was never about this district and this district alone. It was always about all of us. Now, our opponents, not opponent, may have won this round at this time in this place. But this will be a battle for our humanity and justice for the rest of our lives. And we are going to continue to fight that battle for humanity and justice for the rest of our lives.
See, the speech that you just saw there, the concession speech from Jamaal Bowman, is the sort of thing that politicians say all the time, especially in defeat. But it actually was directly tied to why he's in the position that he's in and why he lost. We were talking earlier about Lauren Boebert, like pretending that it matters that she's the congresswoman rather than some other random right-wing host or something like that. But Jamaal Bowman actually did matter. He was an individual. He didn't just automatically agree with everything that the Uniparty believes or whatever. And that's why he lost. He saw tens of thousands of people being massacred and he said, hey, maybe we could not do this. And the rich were like, no, that's utterly unacceptable. You don't get to say that. Even though you saying it isn't gonna change the outcome and the Democrats aren't gonna do anything and the slaughter will continue regardless. We want the slaughter and we want your silence. We want the slaughter and no dissension. Slaughter and one or two lone voices saying that slaughter is bad is not enough for us. We want an endless pile of corpses growing every single day and no one to question this at all. And if you do question it, even if you're questioning it makes no difference whatsoever, we're gonna raise tens of millions of dollars and we're gonna flood your district and we are going to destroy you. Not only to destroy you, but to send a strong signal that no one should defy the line that we've set on this topic or whatever it is that they'll declare that you have to agree with next time. And so while the Republicans are pretending that there's rebels and there's opposition and they're fighting the Uniparty is winning. The Uniparty is the big money that can come in and make your voice and my voice, all of our voices utterly irrelevant because they will be utterly drowned out in millions of dollars. And oh boy, was there lots of millions of dollars to go around. Outside groups spent $23 million to beat Bowman. It was a Democratic primary in a district that the Democrat will definitely win, and they spent $23 million. Not that many years ago, that was general election Senate level funding. Now it's just Democratic primary to weed out one dissenting voice. More than 60% of that money comes from, you will not be surprised to hear, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. They put $14 million into the race over 5 weeks. Progressives did what they could to counter that, but they were able to barely scrape together 1/10 as much money. There were $17 million in negative ads posted against Bowman. Another shocker, by the way, is that the vast majority of that money was negative about Bowman, not positive about Latimer, because basically nobody gave a damn about who Latimer was or anything he said or what he's done. He's utterly irrelevant except insofar as he will not say that the slaughter needs to end. And it wasn't enough that they got the money. Hillary Clinton briefly popped out of the woods where she's been on her hike to say that he needs to be destroyed. And it's so bad, we'll get into this in a few, that even centrist Democrats that have no interest in the squad are like, this seems kind of excessive. We'll get to that in a sec, but Sharon, what do you make of this?
Yeah, and to make matters even worse, they did try to destroy him for saying that he wanted to respect humanity and life. He had to go, he had to be silenced, and he's somehow radical. He's a radical for wanting to respect the lives of other people, children, women, men. It's a sickness. And as you were laying out the money, which is just astronomical in this primary, you're right. It made me say the same thing I've said about fake news in the past. Trump's a liar and MAGA is full of conspiracy theories, but I contend that there is fake news when people have groupthink and they're not entitled, they're not able to see outside their bubble. This is election interference. This is a lack of election integrity. This to me is anti-democracy, and people have been disenfranchised by the money.
Yeah.
It's always about the money.
It's utter corruption. It's an insane amount of corruption and effectively bribery. Now, they didn't take $23 million and put it in a brown bag and slide it under the divider between two stalls so that Latimer has it, but he got it.
Yep.
They gave him $17 million for publicly and maybe privately saying, oh, I'm never going to speak up. You don't even worry. You'll never even hear from me again. And they were able to do that. Totally legal because it's been set up to do so. And that's what they can do. And I know that this is very depressing, okay? And some people might try to spin this as just like, don't feel bad about. No, we should all feel deeply bad about this, not just for Bowman, but that this is legal, that this can happen, that this does routinely happen. But I don't want you to just be depressed because, look, he lost, but he knew what he would face if he took this position. And he took the position and he's still holding the position because 99% or more of politicians are, best case scenario, they're a Lauren Boebert who's just like, just let me in, I'll do whatever you want, give me the paycheck, let me fly around, let me go to fancy parties and we can have fascism or whatever, I don't care. But there are some good people. There are some people who are willing to risk losing their position that have faced and beaten primary challenges like this. They've tried to take out, Ilhan Omar, and they've tried to take out Rashida Tlaib, and they'll probably come for Jasmine Crockett, and they'll come for Summer Lee, and any of these people who speak out, whether it's on what's happening in Gaza or corruption or taxes or whatever. We know that this is here, okay? We know that this is what they'll face, and they are still doing it. And there's not nearly enough of them, and they don't get nearly enough support. All of that is true. I don't need you to tell me that. But there are some good people, okay? And they can make the difference. Bernie is still around. He is still kicking. He is still pushing for change in the areas that we care about. He's still highlighting the privatization of education and what's happening with healthcare. We could go on through all of these topics. And some days the money is too much, okay? But some days it's not. And we're gonna turn to that right now. Because they got Bowman and they want to get Bowman, but there are other trophies that they'd love even more.